Recording started. Hey guys, this is the demo video for homework 5. We are going to be talking about patterns today and starting to write your linear equations. You should have read section 3, part 3 before watching this video, and after this video you can go and work on homework 5. Okay, so we are going to find the equation of a linear set of data. First, what you have to do for your equation, we have the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. And it's called slope-intercept because it gives you your slope and then your intercept, hence slope-intercept form. So first what you want to find is your slope, your m, and you do that by using this formula here. It might look scary, but it's not. I promise it's really easy to use. You have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And all you're doing is subtracting your y values and subtracting x values, and that's going to give you your slope. Then you want to find your b, your y-intercept, where your graph is going to cross the y-axis. And to do that, you can get an ordered pair from your table, an x and a y value, plug that in for your equation, and solve for b. Then you're going to write your m and your b in for your equation, and you'll have something like y equals negative 2x plus 3. Okay? So here we go. All right, our first example. Margie is working at the salon, and she kept track of her hours for the last 4 days. And here's a record of the total hours she worked on each consecutive day. They want us to write a linear equation in the form of y equals mx plus b, which shows the relationship between the number of days that she worked and her total hours worked. So the first thing I need to do is find my slope. And I'm going to write down my formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I'm going to pick 2 coordinate points. I'm going to pick these 2 right here. Remember, your x's are on top and your y's are on the bottom. So you're going to take your second y value and your first y value and subtract them. I'll have 12 minus 6 over, I'm going to take my second x value and subtract my first value from it. So I'll have 2 minus 1. 12 minus 6 gives me 6. 2 minus 1 is 1. I have 6 over 1, which simplifies to 6, and that's my slope. Now I need to find my y-intercept, so I'm going to pick a coordinate point. I'm going to go with 1, 6. Remember, the 1 is my x and the 6 is my y, and I'm going to plug that into my slope-intercept form. So my y is 6. I'm going to have 6 equals my m, which is my slope, which I found to be 6, like 6n. I'm going to multiply that by my x, which my x is 1, so I plug 1 in there, plus the b. The b is what I'm looking for, my y-intercept. I need to multiply these 2 things, so I have 6 equals 6 times 1 is 6 plus b. And I want to solve for b, so I need to get rid of this 6. I'm going to subtract 6 and subtract 6 from this side, and I get 0. So my b is 0. And now I'm going to take these 2 things and plug them into my form. The only thing that you're going to plug in is the m and the b. You're going to leave the y and the x there because that y and x can change every time depending on what coordinate point you're talking about. So my final equation, my final answer is going to be y equals my m, which was my slope, which is 6. So I have 6x plus 0. Or you could say y equals 6x. You don't have to put the 0 on there. Again, they want us to write an equation in our slope-intercept form, and they gave us this table talking about gallons of water used and bottles filled with those gallons. So when they used 3 gallons of water, they filled up 45 bottles. 6 gallons filled up 90. 9 gallons of water filled up 135 bottles, and 12 gallons of water filled up 180 bottles. First, we need to find our slope. So again, I'm going to pick 2 coordinate points. You can pick whichever 2 coordinate points that you want, but I'm going to go with my first 2 because those are my smallest numbers. They'll be easy to work with. I need to subtract my y's. So I'm going to do 90 minus 45. I'm going to divide that by my x's, 6 minus 3. I have 90 minus 45, which gives me 15. My bad, it is not 15, it's 45. And then 6 minus 3 is going to give me 3. And now when I simplify this, 45 divided by 3 is going to give me 15. So my slope is 15. Now I want to find my b, so I'm going to choose an ordered pair. I'm going to go with 345. And I'm going to plug that into my slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. My y is 45, so I have 45 equals m, which we found to be 15, times 3, which is the x, and I'm looking for the b. $15 times 3 gives me 45, so I have 45 equals 45 plus b. I need to subtract 45 from both sides. And I find that my b equals 0. So my final equation is going to be y equals 15x. Now then, on problems like this, where you see that you're increasing by 45 each time, remember that was our common difference, like what we did in homework 4. And that's what we're doing here to find our change in y's. And then our change in x's, we're going by 3's with all of my x's. So if I was to go backwards 3, my x would be 0. And if I went backwards 45, my y would be 0. I'm telling you this because whenever your x is 0, that's your y-intercept. So see here, I have this 0 for my y-intercept, 0 for y-intercept because my x is 0. And if that was a little confusing, don't worry, it will get easier. Okay, example 3. I have this table with my x's and y's in it. They want me to write an equation for it by finding my m and my b. So sometimes negatives can be a little difficult for working with, but I want to show you an example with the negatives in it. So the coordinate points that I'm going to pick, -1, 5, and 2, -1. I need to find my slope. So I'm going to do my second y value, which is -1, minus my first y value, which is 5, over my second x, which is 2, minus my first x is -1. Now then, just because this negative is here and you wrote down your minus sign, doesn't mean that you can drop this one. You still have to put that -1 there. And your two negatives here are going to become positive. So I have a -1 and a -5, which is going to give me -6, divided by 2 plus 1, which is 3. So I have -6 divided by 3. You always want to reduce your slope. In this case, I'm going to get -2. I need to find my y-intercept. And remember, on that last example, I told you your y-intercept is whenever your x is 0. Well, here, my x is 0, so my y-intercept is going to be 3. So my equation is y equals -2x plus 3. This problem, we are going to use the equation from example 3, which was y equals -2x plus 3. And they want us to find the value for y if x was going to equal -7. You're going to take your -7 and plug it in for x. So I have -2 times -7 plus 3. -2 times -7 gives me a positive 14. I'm going to add 3 to that for 17. And I found that y equals 17. So your coordinate point would be -7, 17. Remember, if you had questions on this, you can bring them to Toga this afternoon. I would say go back, watch the video again, write down any questions that you have in your margin so that you will have your questions ready to go when you come to Toga. In this lesson today, we figured out how to find the equation for a linear relationship in function notation. If you have any questions, come to Toga, and we'll see you later. Bye, guys.